All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 15. That is right, week number 15 of your 9489 class, which is your cultural heritage class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. J.S.K. Austin, and what we are going to do this week is we are going to start out with a quick state of the course update, because there isn't much to update as far as the state of the course because we are in the last week. And then after that, I am going to ask you for some guidance, and if you watch the video, then I am hoping that you will email me, send me a Canvas message or something to let me know what you think I should include in this class in the future. But first, let's go ahead and get into that state of the course update, and then I will come back, circle back, and talk about what exactly I mean when I am talking about asking you all for some guidance. So first of all, let's move me here and let's look at this in your view. All right, so what is left? We have to actually get out of a lot of this stuff first. And so you do have your Forgotten Heritage module that is going to be due on May the 8th. So I want you all to be aware that that is actually going to be Friday and not Sunday, May the 8th, because technically this is the last week. But what I want you all to also be aware of is that there is going to be a bit of a grace period. So if you get your discussion prompt done by Sunday, that is fine. Basically, May 8th is going to be when it's actually due because the school is telling me that's when it has to be due. But then from there, I can give you a grace period beyond when it's actually due. So if you turn it in by May 10th, which is Sunday, you'll be fine. And then also your heritage project or your paper, your position paper, either one, whichever you decided to do, that is also going to be due on the 10th, okay? Now, I do want to say I do apologize for the fact that some of you might be wondering about the Four Heritages paper. I just quite frankly have not been able to get those graded yet. I will be grading those throughout the final grading time, but because of how things were just lining up in my life, and this has nothing to do with y'all, and so I'm sorry that y'all are kind of feeling the brunt of it, but because of what has been going on in my life, I had to kind of pivot to taking care of the discussion board prompts, and so I got those kind of caught up. I'm up to week 14 now, so week 14 and 15 are the last ones that I have to do, and I'll be able to knock those out pretty quickly. That's the thing, I actually do read your discussion board posts and that sort of thing. So because I read them and try to respond to the original post, I don't always respond to replies, but I respond to the original post that you do pretty much every time. And so doing that has, that's been time consuming as well. But not that I'm trying to make excuses, but for those of you who don't know, I have a part-time job. And so I'm basically like y'all. A lot of y'all have full-time jobs and then you go to school. I have a full-time job, which is this job. But then I also have the part-time job. So I stay pretty busy as well. I work about 70 hours a week, give or take, sometimes up to 90 hours a week. So, Dr. Jason's busy. But you all are the ones that I love, to be quite honest with you. I love them people. Well, I do love everybody, but I don't care as much for the people on my part-time job as I care about y'all. So I do try to prioritize y'all, but there have been, I've got a lot of students, got a lot of values. It is what it is. But I'm going to get those Four Heritage papers back to you over the course of the next probably 10 days or so. And I do want y'all to not worry about those because typically the students do pretty well on those just because by then people know what to expect. And so I doubt they're probably gonna be mostly A's and then a few B's, and then even if you get a B on it, there's a high chance that you'll still get an A in the class if you are on the trajectory for an A anyway. Okay, so it'll all work out. I don't want y'all to be worried or anything like that. All right. And then again, just turn in those final papers or evidence of your heritage project by Sunday night, and you will be good to go. You'll be in good standing and that sort of thing. I have really enjoyed teaching this class. I always enjoyed teaching this class, but I will say that there were some elements brought into the class this semester that previous students hadn't had to deal with. And I think you all responded very well. So, for instance, Cassie, I'll just be honest, Cassie is not, as I warned y'all about before she came in, Cassie is not somebody that's going to agree with a lot of what we do in higher ed. She's not going to agree with a lot of liberal stances, blah, 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 blah. But I was actually very pleased by how well y'all engaged Cassie, and quite a few of you discussed Cassie's presentation within the discussion boards and things like that. And I think that went a long way. I was very pleased with what I saw out of that. So just know, again, when you're doing heritage work, there are a lot of conservatives who are into heritage work, and you gotta realize that. So you got a lot of people who are flag huggers and, oh my God, the founding fathers are so perfect. Yeah, they were also rapists and enslavers, but oh my God, the founding fathers are so perfect. You'll find that with a lot of people who do heritage work. You'll find a lot of people who are Confederate sympathizers with heritage work. You're gonna find a lot of people who kind of have, quite frankly, some white nationalist ideology, even though they're not aware of it in heritage work. And and I'm not saying that Cassie's one of those people by any means, but you're going to find that. And so you have to be able to navigate it. I hate to say that, but right now you're in the university setting, you're in the safe space, but you're not going to be in the safe space when you go out there and actually do heritage work. And I want y'all to just be aware of that and know how to navigate and deal with it, okay? But I think y'all are going to do fine. I absolutely do. So having said that, let's go ahead and from here, I want to pose something on y'all. So let me just say this. And again, please email me or message me if you've watched this and you make it to this and then you respond to what I'm going to say here. But what I wanted to do also was put on y'all um, an idea that a student from last year posed that I had tried to do this year, but then I didn't have time because I had to make the course, I had to update the course significantly to meet the revised accessibility standards and that sort of thing. And so that took time away from doing what I wanted to do with the course as far as making what I call wildcard weeks. And this again was posed by a student, I don't know who, because they said it on a teaching evaluation, but one of my students anonymously last year suggested, hey, Dr. J's do wildcard weeks. And what she meant, I'm assuming it was a woman student, and I won't get into that, but some of the other comments she said, especially her appreciation of the women in heritage work module. I do believe it was a woman student. So she said, if she's a she, uh, she said that we needed to probably have like a few wildcard weeks wherein students can actually pick from one or two module, like pick from two or three even modules. And I do think the cemetery week would be one of those weeks, probably food as well. But the weeks that I currently have one module, I may add a second and potentially even a third module and see what the students actually wanted to respond to within those modules. Okay. So like they would be able to determine which module they wanted to do that week. So let's say, because I'm not sure I'm explaining this right, but an example will help. So let's say that during the cemetery week, I also had a module about genealogy. Okay. And genealogy and cemeteries, they kind of go hand in hand. So if I had like a genealogy, heritage genealogy and that sort of thing, if I had a module for genealogy and a module for cemeteries, then that would be a wild card week. And each student would be able to say, oh, okay, I'm going to do the cemeteries or I'm going to do the genealogy and the surnames. And then they pick whichever one they're going to do. They read up on the topic and respond to a discussion board prompt based on the topic that they chose, okay? And there are probably 3 weeks that I've identified that I can get away with this, but I can't remember the third one off the top of my head right now, and it's pretty late or early, depending on how you look at it. So, but yeah, cemeteries is one of them. I probably give an option of cemeteries or genealogy and surnames, and then food, I may also add sports and game or something like that and let students pick there. So I say that to say I want to know what heritage topics you would be interested in me potentially adding. It doesn't help you, but you would help the people that come after you. What are some heritage topics that you think that this class probably could have included but did not include? Do you think I should have a sports and games heritage module? Do you think that I should have a genealogy and surnames heritage module? And then you can go on into a lot of different things. Pardon me for one moment. Sorry about that. So yeah, you could probably go even deeper and further into that. There are a lot of other ideas that could potentially come up. Architecture could be one, because architecture has cultural heritage relevance. Faith and religion has cultural heritage relevance. Lodges and secret societies have cultural heritage relevance. And frankly, I don't know how I would pull this off, so this would be a challenge for me. But yes, even agriculture, and plants and that sort of thing, yeah, horticulture, all of that stuff, that even has cultural heritage relevance and that sort of thing. And then you could even tie just other aspects of nature into that, like taxonomy and things like that. So there's a lot that you could do with that as well. So there are a lot of topics. That was certainly not an exhaustive list. There could be a whole lot more going on. So having said that, if there are elements of cultural heritage that you think could be made into modules for those wildcard weeks, let me know. Again, get in contact with me. Let me know. Again, email or Canvas message or that sort of thing. But just let me know, because again, I'm trying to. This class is actually one of the higher rated classes in the program. And that's not a brag. I'm not, that might sound like a humble brag, like, oh, I'm teaching one of the, I created one of the best. It ain't like that, y'all. I promise it ain't like that, y'all. But what I am going to say is, I call it what it is. If the class is popular and the class can be popular in the future, that helps my employability and my relevance within the program. So yeah, I do always want to keep continuing to improve and evolve this course. So whatever I can do to do that, yeah, please give me that guidance and that sort of thing, that feedback. The reason the class is where it is at now is because I've been listening to feedback all along. I've gotten rid of modules. I got rid of a textbook. I had a textbook the first semester that I taught this class, and all the students said, yo, this textbook sucks. They were telling me that not just, the textbook is called Heritage Keywords, by the way, if you want to Google that textbook and see. They hated that textbook, y'all. They didn't even wait until the evaluations. They were telling me during class, yo, Dr. Jace, this textbook is whack, dude. So, I went on ahead and told them, I told them in a check-in video, okay, I'm getting rid of the textbook. I won't have it next year. And I got like a bunch of applause for that. Like people, giving likes to that announcement. So yeah, this class is always evolving based on the feedback of my students, and yeah, I think it's as strong as it is because of the feedback of my students. So yeah, keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate you. Again, I appreciate y'all sticking with me through what has been a very trying semester with everything that's going on in the world, everything that's going on in people's personal lives. And I get that, I'm not ashamed to say I'm in the process of a divorce right now, and a lot of you have been there already, and a lot of you, unfortunately, will go through that in the future. Divorce is not easy. So, I understand personal life struggles. Some of you lost family along the way. Some of you had family illnesses. Some of you had illnesses of your own. Whatever you are going through, Dr. Jace, I don't have time to counsel you through it, but just know that I care, and I do pray for y'all. Not everybody's a Christian. I understand that. I accept that. I'm a former atheist myself, but now that I am a Christian, yeah, I go ahead and I pray for my students, and I pray good things over y'all. And if you don't appreciate the prayer, just know I'll pray for you anyway. But you'll never, if you're an atheist and you don't believe that prayer is going to do anything anyway, so you can just kind of shrug it off. But I love y'all, and that's why I pray for y'all, and that's why I want success for all of y'all. So anyway. Yes, go ahead and please let me know what I should add to the course, and I am listening. But I am Dr. Jace, and thank you for joining me this semester in this space. Take care, have a restful summer, and I hope I will see some of you in future classes. If you are graduating, I can't remember who's graduating aside from Kai, but for those of you who are graduating, it has been an absolute pleasure to have y'all, and I wish you all the best and the greatest success in the future going forward. Take care. Be safe.